Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, in the next half hour on Blueprint Explosive Exclusive, we will expose the real face of Pakistan government and its terror outfits and how Pakistan establishment continues to breed and back terrorism on its own soil. Now, Times Now has accessed super exclusive images exposing Pakistan's terror links a year after India decimated Pakistan's terror infrastructure under Operation Sindoor. Jaish-e-Mohammed is not just rebuilding its headquarters in Bahawalpur. The force funding this terror network is none other than the Pakistan government. A government that claims that it doesn't have enough money to feed its own people. Now, these exclusive images on your screen show active reconstruction work at the Jaish headquarters, the Markaz Subhanallah. In fact, major alterations are also being made to the 3 domes that were destroyed during India's precision strikes. Let me quickly take you through the exclusive images showing reconstruction at Jaish terror headquarters. And this, of course, is what we'll be showing you. Let's quickly bring it up here on the big screen and let me show you where those images are. If you can see earlier, we had, of course, reported that reconstruction work has started. But just look at those images. Let's quickly take you through. This is, of course, the inside of it. But you can see the scaffolding here, how the work is on to actually rebuild the entire structure as it earlier was. And therefore, of course, Jaish-e-Mohammed being allowed to do this when the whole world now knows that it's a terror hub that India has destroyed, raises serious questions of what the Pakistan government is really doing. Of course, we've seen statements in the past where they've called those who died martyrs, where we've seen Pakistan army officials attend the funerals of the individuals who were killed over here. What does this really show? This clearly shows the links of Pakistan, its government, its army, along with these terror groups. I think that is completely undeniable. Let's take this across to Ankit, who's joining us. Suhail also with us for more updates. Ankit, it's very clear now that as far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as Jaish-e-Mohammed is concerned, Pakistan making no bones about the fact that these are individuals or organizations that it will allow to thrive despite the fact that India had destroyed this terror infrastructure, actually encouraging these terrorist groups to thrive, to flourish in Pakistan.
Yes, absolutely, Madhav. These are the exclusive visuals. These are the exclusive images which we are getting for our viewers. These are the visuals which clearly exposes the Pakistani army, Pakistani government, how Pakistani government is backing the terror outfit like Jaish-e-Mohammed and LET. What we are learning from our sources is that Pakistan is again trying to rebuild and they are trying to reconstruct the structures, terror infrastructure which were hit during the Operation Sindoor. These images are from the Bahawalpur where the Subhanallah Markaz was being hit during the Operation Sindoor. And look at this, how Pakistani police, Punjab police elite anti-terror which is known for the anti-terror operations, they are being gardening this Markaz. It means Pakistani police, Pakistani army, Pakistani ISI and the Pakistani government, they are being exposed once again how they are rebuilding, reconstructing these markers, these terror infrastructures. What we are also learning is that more than 60 million Pakistani rupees has been given to the terror organization to reconstruct these terror infrastructures. One more info what we are getting is that from the Pakistan occupied Kashmir in Muzaffarabad.
Okay, stay with us, Ankit. I'm going to request Sahil also to stay on with us. Sahil, I'm just going to come to you in a few minutes because I want to first analyze what's really happening over here, because several experts have mocked Pakistan for its double standards and have urged global leaders to condemn Terroristan.
Here, on one hand, Pakistan does not have money to feed its own people, but it has money to give to these jihadis to construct their palatial markazes and other places and all, and also open training camps wherein arms, ammunition and all are given there. This is the reality of Pakistan, and this is what the world must now look into, because if the world does not condemn Pakistan, if the world keeps on looking at it like good terrorists, bad terrorists, or if it looks like that because they are useful allies of US, we cannot do anything with them, then this terrorism will never cease, will never finish.
All right, let's open this up to our guests for the moment. We have Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon joining us. He's, of course, a defense expert. Also with us is Lieutenant General DP Pandey. Also with us on the show is Sushil Pandit, the activist. General Dhillon, coming to you first. If we just look at this, of course, no surprises there. But it's just how brazen it gets. Because despite, it being internationally known that this is very much functioning as a terror hub, once again, that structure is up and pretty similar to how it was right before Operation Sindoor.
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to General Pandey and fellow panelists and all your viewers. Say in Pakistan, Punjab is the hub not only for Pakistani military or the Pakistani politicians, it is also the main ground for enrollment or recruitment of Pakistani terrorists. May it be Lashkar-e-Taiba, may it be Jaish-e-Mohammed. After Operation Sindoor, Pakistanis tried to shift these markazis and terror headquarters deep inside Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and other places. But the contributions, the donations which were coming in the Pakistani Punjab province were not coming through in KPK, which is basically a Pashtun belt, and Pakistani military is having bad days there because of the Afghan-Pakistan border disputes and Pashtuns hitting the Pakistani military and TTP. Similarly, in Balochistan, the freedom fighters, Baloch Liberation Army, they are giving them a bad time. And Karachi has its own, sort of things. So they had to fall back to Pakistani Punjab to take donation from already poor people of Pakistan, as also all the international donations or the grants which have come in. As always, sizable amount of that has been diverted towards terror funding, terror infrastructure building, and promoting terrorism in the region and all across the world. So no surprises there. And like Director General Air Defense of Indian Army, General Kuna had said, they can go and hide themselves in any rat hole. We will find them and we will destroy them. So right. There's nothing new in it. The state, the deep state, the ISI, the Pakistan Army, the Pakistan government is behind this terrorism. And they are not only doing it blatantly now, they are even now challenging the world that we will make this terror infrastructure from your donations and your grants and your funds and your loans.
Absolutely.
I think the world has to take a notice of it.
Absolutely. Let me bring in Lieutenant General Pandey on this. Lieutenant General Pandey, Pakistan's always in denial when it's asked about terrorism. They blame India. But just look at the blatant way in which the Pakistan government is actually funding the reconstruction of what is essentially a terror hub.
Yeah, so at the very outset, Madhav, my regards to General Dhillon and to everybody on the panel. Just first point is that when America and Israel have gone after Iran, basically to say that the terror hubs are being operated in terms of Hamas with the Hezbollah. But on the other side, the Americans are continuing to support by getting the funds released to IMF just about a few days back. The IMF has released the funds to Pakistan. I think they're going extremely wrong, and somewhere the world has to acknowledge one facet. The entire region remains volatile and fragile because this constant investment by the Pakistan based on the ideology of religion to continue to invest into infrastructure, ideology, idea of terrorism. So while the terrorists have become the state tool by Pakistan, not only against India, but if you look at against Afghanistan, against their own very people in KPK, in Sindh and other areas. I think it's very strange to see the silence of the world today, and somewhere maybe we need to actually ratchet up this conversation to take it at the global stage and give this proof of a few issues that today the political element, the military element have come together very, very clearly with the terrorists in the open, in which they are sharing the stage, they are sharing the screen boards, they are coming out in support of each other as if they are in sync and in synergy to carry out operations in the region. Right now they're talking about India only, but we need to see that how much Lashkar-e-Taiba has affected the world, including America in their strikes. And this whole synergy which has been organized by the Pakistan Army, wherein Hamas has come down to train the Lashkar terrorists or interact with the Jaish-e-Mohammed. All this public space which is being given requires to be called out at the world stage by the world people and population.
Right.
And this unholy alliance which is disturbing the peace has to be taken out.
Okay.
The part which Dylan has so very rightly brought out, khane ko dana nahi hai, but they are giving this money, very, very precious fund, not only whatever is coming to them, but taking from the poor people from Punjab.
Absolutely.
Who thinking that they are doing a religious cause are actually sacrificing.
Well, completely misleading the youth, completely misleading the public, and of course taking them down this path of terror which has only got death and destruction down the road. Let me quickly bring in Sushil Pandit also. In fact, we have Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastava also joining us. But Sushil Pandit, we also have information coming in that there's been special security that's been provided, and the security at this facility is being handled by Punjab Police's special elite force that's under the government of Maryam Nawaz.
Good evening, Madhav. Jai Hind to distinguished generals and the Air Marshal, and Jai Hind to rest of your viewers. I was listening very carefully to the distinguished defense analysts. Why are we surprised? When was Pakistan not funding their terror outfits, these jihadi outfits? When was it not creating them as instruments of their state policy? This has been an ongoing practice. And what is new that we will tell the world about this? Don't they know? Doesn't America know David Coleman Headley or Tahabur Hussain Rana? Or for that matter, Ajmal Kasab? Or the terrorists we had to release after Kandahar crisis? So it's an ongoing saga about which the world and India is very well aware. I suggest, first and foremost, let our parliament declare Pakistan a terror state before we expect the world to do this. Before we expect rest of the world to start fighting our battles, let's pick up the cudgels, number one. Number two, I saw a lot of kite flying lately in social media when the so-called unknown gunmen were bumping off known terrorists in Pakistan, and the speculation was that the Pakistan state is trying to refurbish its image and trying to liquidate them because they are no longer necessary and they are a burden on their image. Now, I don't think these two things can go parallelly, that you fund you rebuild an infrastructure and at the same time you liquidate your own assets. So please stop giving Pakistan credit for what it is not doing. Please stop giving Pakistan brownie points for realizing that their terror policy has failed. No, they are unapologetic, they are incorrigible, and the battle starts with us. We need to formally declare them a pariah state, a terror state. And we need to do everything, just tinkering in one operation or the other, scoring some formal points, allowing them to rebuild it again and coming back to square one is not going to work.
Okay.
We need to have a comprehensive, sustained policy.
Okay.
That's what we need with Pakistan.
All right, and we have a breaking update coming to Air Vice Marshal Srivastava in just a moment, because this sinister plot of Pakistan doesn't end here. After suffering losses in Operation Sindoor, LET has also formed its Women Terror Squad. A group of women belonging to this female terror cadre was seen at a pro-Pakistan rally in commemorating what they call the Battle of Truth, quote unquote. Terrorist Hafiz Saeed's son, Talha Saeed, was seen on stage while the female squad was guarding the stage, and Lashkar-e-Toiba has tried to expand its women's wing, claiming that they were teaching and educating women, similar to how Jaish-e-Mohammed had set up its own women's unit called Jamaatul Muminat, while later Lashkar has raised its own women's unit called Taibat, working under the cover of Muslim Markazi Women's League. Let's quickly bring in Sahil Suhail on this. Sahil, very, very clear that it is first Jaish-e-Mohammed, now it is in fact Lashkar-e-Toiba, and we've seen the imprint of that as far as the Delhi blast case is concerned, where there was very clearly a female terrorist who was involved as far as all the terrorist activities are concerned.
And yes, exactly. Apart from rebuilding its infrastructure that was decimated by the forces during Operation Sindhu in the middle of night, the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed terror outfits have now floated these women, basically squads, and for the first time, the female terror squad of this Lashkar-e-Taiba came into a public scanner. In fact, under public scanner, while in Faisalabad, there was this rally that was pro-Pakistan Army rally, and there, in fact, the pictures that we have accessed show basically these female squads dressing, in fact, combat dresses were seen guarding the stage, while the Hafiz Saeed's son Talha Saeed, who's a designated terrorist, was on stage and in fact delivering a speech. There, in fact, this Lashkar-e-Taiba female squad is headed by Ifat Saeed and is functioning under the cover of Markazi Muslim Women League, but the actual name of this organization is something called Tayyibat, and in this organization, female, in fact, terror squad is being groomed, and there's a multi-layered training that is being imparted to these female, in fact, squads. That's
Sahil, thanks so much for joining us with that quick update. Let's quickly take this across to our guests once again. Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastava, how significant is it? Lashkar-e-Taiba first, Jaish-e-Mohammed, now Lashkar-e-Taiba, and those images are very clear. They are there at that event of Talha Saeed, and they're seen guarding the stage. Is this a very clear, development as far as the shift in strategy as far as terror groups are concerned?
Madhav, there is no ambiguity about these terror outfits being the part of regular army of the Pakistani army. There's no doubt about it. Even Trump, in his first tenure, he said, we have sunk $33 billion for all lies and deceit which was given to us when they were fighting in Afghanistan. They were playing the double role. But same Trump is now calling so-called Field Marshal Munir as his favorite Field Marshal. And he has provided all the funds through IMF and through Saudi Arabia. You find all these funds coming which are being lavishly spent on building these outfits. So essentially, it is something like this that we'll need to do at regular intervals their haircut. There's no other way out for the Indian armed forces. We need to see the moment and do that kind of thing. Because I'm pretty sure the kind of damage which we've done in all these terror outfits structures and the airfields, if they're trying to build, which they're saying they're trying to build hardened shelters, of course we have bunker buster bars which can go and damage that, but the cost will be too high. It's going to be something like $3 to $4 billion. They haven't got that kind of money. So they have increased their budget to 20% more. But that's not going to serve because they got fat salaries and fat pensions. All those recurring things have to be taken care of. So as far as India is concerned, we have to understand, despite all the hearsay, even by Trump in the first tenure, now when he comes for the second tenure, he's kind of espousing Pakistan and making him mediator.
Right.
How will Iran kind of accept Pakistan as a serious mediation when he's got his forces positioned in Saudi Arabia?
Right.
How do you think that? They got fighter aircraft over there, they got their men over there.
Yeah.
So this will continue. We need to take this for granted and handle it as such.
All right.
That's the part of our strategy.
Lieutenant Dillon, of course, in the first half we broke and we told you about how things are changing as far as Bahawalpur is concerned. But strategy-wise, if you look at the Delhi blast case also, we know how there was a female terrorist involved, a doctor for that matter. So is this very significant from the strategy, whether it's online radicalization or actual, trying to send physical assets on ground, the fact that both Jaish and Lashkar-e-Taiba have women cells now?
Absolutely, Madhav. Women terrorists or women suicide bombers or women, female being used by terrorists for doing their nefarious acts is not new to the area, is not new to the region. We had a, Pakistani-built organization called Dukhtarane-Millat of Aisha Andrabi in Kashmir. So it's nothing new. Yes, they keep changing the tactics to avoid the opponent or to be better than the opponent. And we need to keep a tag of this. And secondly, I agree with Mr. Pandit that this is our battle and only we have to fight it. We cannot afford to depend on anyone else because nobody in this world is happy with the progress India is making economically, militarily, and politically. They all are jealous of us and they will be very happy if we suffer at the hands of terrorism. So it's our war. We have to fight it. And Sam Dam Dand Bhed. We need to make sure our interests are preserved and the enemy is decimated.
Right, absolutely. In fact, Sushil Pandit, in fact, saluting you as well. But General Pandey, I want you to come in on this. At the end of the day, 1 year on, are there several lessons that certainly have to be learned from, when something as significant as Operation Sindoor happens? But it's, our battle to fight. It's for us to go ahead and declare Pakistan as a terror state. Lot more that perhaps we can do is the view that Sushil Pandit is expressing. You agree with him?
Yeah, firstly, I totally agree with Sushil because frankly, when he said that we are surprised that the Pakistanis are doing all this, me and General Dhillon, I think we have spent our entire life, as Sushil has done in this region. We are not surprised. But what the issue is that the world always continues to move based on the geopolitical considerations. And if we don't keep the pressure on, the pedal on, what happens is that there are other challenges which overtake the world body. And thereafter, this funding which starts and eventually is going to hit us only, because there is nobody else who's going to be directly hit except for maybe the people from KPK, Afghanistan, our region, Baloch, through this whole activity of terrorism and terrorist activity, because as General Dhillon has said that nobody wants India to progress the way they want. So I think that is a very, very clear case that we must keep on. While on the other hand, which Operation Sindoor has very clearly shown to the world that we are not going to come to you with the dossiers. We are going to come back and hit. We'll hit in case Pakistan tries something funny or sinister. In fact, Operation Sindoor has been kept at pause for the very same reason, to send this message that you step up out of line. This is where you're going to come out. And then this issue of IWT and other facets which are ongoing needs to keep the pressure on, because we understand, Madhav and our panelists, that Pakistan is building up a case to ensure that IWT waters are released, some degree of moderation, pressures start coming up from the Western powers, people who are the interested.
Well, we certainly have to keep our resolve and as a nation have to collectively deal with issues when it comes to Pakistan. We have to be united in this fight against it. I think that's the broad message coming out of this entire discussion. Lieutenant General Dhillon, Lieutenant General Pandey, as well as Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastava, Sushil Pandit. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening.